All right, so here we go. So this is, we are starting with approaches. If you have your no, you don't need your If you have your focus and your study guide out, I'll be able to fill in a bunch of stuff for you. Typically the easiest one to kind of fill in is your study guide because it's usually a definition application. So here on your study guide, just kidding, psychology. So psychology is the scientific study of behavior and mental processes. So if I was on your study guide, if I saw that, that's what I would write. It's not on there, which is fine, so just enjoy the show for a second. So psychology is not just looking at, I do this because of this. It's looking at all the factors that have an impact on your life. Okay? I am who I am because of the things I experienced, the things I've seen, the feelings I've had, the actual physical harm I've done to myself, okay? The intellectual scenarios I've run through my head, okay? And the things I have just been aware of in other people's lives, correct? Okay? I'm very conscious about how much food I eat and waste and all that stuff, not because I've ever been starving and I've never known where my next meal is going, but my family always volunteers every Thanksgiving at a soup kitchen. We spend every Thanksgiving at a soup kitchen serving out food, and for Christmas we always do, we also make food for the poor, all those different types of things. That's had a huge impact on me and affects me in every way. That's psychology. I also know I'm very klutzy, and I run into things and I bruise very easily, so I try to be aware of my surroundings. Doesn't work. Yesterday I have like 4 new bruises on my legs because I walked into chairs all day, but those are things I'm aware of. All of that fits in psychology. The reason why I love my husband and not some other guy, that's psychology. Why do you fall in love with one person and not the other person next to him? Why? That's psychology. All of that kind of comes together and things we'll be studying, which is really kind of cool. But before we can talk about big picture psychology, we have to understand where it starts. So, where it starts is behavior. Every single one of you is going to deal. Now, you may just have to kind of sit there and kind of go through and look and process with me. Okay, behavior is the outward or overt actions and reactions. Okay, the fact that you came into my classroom yesterday and you didn't start running around my classroom. Why? Why didn't you just start going? Why didn't you do that? Have you ever walked into a classroom after your first day of pre-K and done that after the fact? Did you come into my classroom and being like, oh my God, I'm going to sit here. This is Lily. I had her in AP World, so this is kind of awkward, but not super. Okay? Do you sit on these desks? No, because you have sat in a desk before, correct? You sat in a room with rows. You know what to expect when you go into a classroom. That's behavior. You've learned it by watching, you've learned by living, you've learned by experiencing. Behavior. Mental processes. Now, mental processes are all the things that you think of in your head. Hopefully, you have done, as you've grown up, have you realized that you don't say everything you think anymore? Because you had one experience that went terribly poorly for you, yeah? You said something to a friend that you thought was really funny, and everyone around you thought it was really funny, but now you're not friends with that friend anymore. Have you had that happen to you? That's happened to me. Yeah, I learned that lesson real hard. Okay? That is your mental process. So in my head, I say a lot of things. There's a lot going on in there. My mental processes are, I think very fast, which is why I talk so fast. And which is why I'm really concentrating on slowing down, because I talk too fast. I know that. Mental processes, the way we think, anticipate. Does anyone think ahead of the next thing? Like, I'm a huge thinker ahead. I am always stressing about the next thing that's coming. I have to plan my conversations. On Tuesday we went out to lunch with my department and we went to a new place I've never been. Oh my God. If I wasn't literally forced to go, I wouldn't go. We went to Make Your Own Pie across the street. Have you ever been?
Oh, your pie.
Whatever it is. I don't even know. I'm trying to block it out from my memory. It was a terrible experience. Literally had no idea what to expect. Could not plan what I was going to get. In my head, I wanted a pineapple Hawaiian pizza. You know what I mean? Delicious. Got up to the line because I've never been there before. Totally nervous I was going to mess it up. Okay? So I got to the line. I ordered a pizza I don't like. And I literally told her what toppings I wanted. Because she'd say, well, do you want this? And I said, sure. I don't eat jalapenos. They were on my pizza. I get so nervous because I didn't know what to predict. That's a mental process. If I haven't had the experience of that, like I went to Fresh Kitchen once and I left without ordering. It was too much. I just can't. I have to have someone literally hold my hand and just do it for me so I can do it a couple times and then I'll be okay. Haven't gone back. It could be great. I have no idea. Mental processes. Convert activity in our minds. If I don't have a plan in my head, it won't happen. The pizza thing was too much. Even though I kind of had a plan, I didn't know what to expect, so I shut down. Mental process. Okay, so psychology is a science at the end. We are measuring things, and we're also interpreting things. That's how psychology works. We're trying to prevent as much bias as possible. All of you think you are wonderful, and you are, individually in your own unique ways. However, all of you, because you think you're the best person in the world, will not see your own flaws to a degree. Yes? Well, have you ever noticed when someone has said something to you, it's immediately their fault? Yeah, when you talk to your friend, oh my God, you will not believe what Lily said. It was ridiculous. She just went off the cuff. It was just crazy. When in fact, if I didn't say a crappy comment to Lily, Lily would never have responded that way. It wouldn't have happened. When we deal with psychology, we're looking at biases every single time, and we're trying to do careful measurement. So the 4 major goals, 2 major perspectives, we haven't quite got there. Description. We want to know what's happening. We want explanation. Why is it happening? Theory, prediction, and will it happen again? So next week when we get to research, you may just have to listen to this. It's fine. When we get to research, it's all science. I'm teaching you science next week, and a little bit of math, a little bit in there, and then we really start the science. I do biology for 3 weeks. When we talk about it, we're going through an experiment. It's all based on experiments. Once we get going, that's what we're studying. Okay, so the history. This is a big deal, and this is your foundation. This is question number 1. So the 2 major backgrounds, the 2 major philosophical perspectives to create psychology are going to be the next 2. So hold on for 2 seconds. I'll tell you exactly what you need. Psychology is a new science. It's actually one of the most popular sciences in the world. It's only been around for about 130 years. That's pretty new. Okay, physics has been around a lot longer than that. And physics just is beyond my intelligence level. So when we start talking, psychology is really going to start with our philosophers, Socrates, Aristotle, all those people it's going to start with, but the actual psychology is going to come in later. Physiologists are going to be the other component. When we talk about psychology, it's not just what's happening in our brain, it's happening in our physiological bodies as well, and that's where we're going to see the cross. And it's going to begin by using science to study the mind. So your first major philosophical perspective is going to be structuralism. This is question number 1. It focuses on the structure or basic elements of the mind. Structuralism, structure. Okay? When we talk about structure, we're looking at how the brain shapes the way we think. So essentially in structuralism, we thought because we have evolved from monkeys and stuff like that, and we can text and monkeys can't, we thought all of our intelligence was in the front of our brain. Because we have a bigger front of the brain. We knew that 130 years ago. We've done dissection since the dawn of time. We know that. So because of our structure, that's where it was. The more important stuff would be in the front, and the least important stuff would be in the back. Okay? Now, the founder of structuralism is William Woundit. You need his name. You need to know who he is. He is the founder of psychology. He is the founder of structuralism. Now, William Woundit lived in Germany in the 1800s. 1879 is when he officially started his first psychology. Okay? He used the tool of introspection. So, already, what you need to know about William Woundit and structuralism, and I will write it on my board over here because it's that important, and I never write on my board except for big stuff. Okay? William Woundit, it all starts. So psychology, here's your family tree. Psychology. Your first major branch is structuralism. Okay, it is founded by Woundit. Okay, and his major tool is introspection. Now, introspection is asking yourself about thinking. Have you ever made a stupid decision in your life? Just something stupid. Like your parents told you not to do something and you did it. And then you were like, why the hell did I do that? I really didn't care that much about that thing or something like that. And you kind of sit there and you think about your own damn thoughts. Yes? Like, why would I do that? I don't even like that person. I really didn't really want to go. I don't know why I did it. That is introspection. It is thinking about thinking. Thinking about why you think certain ways, why you think certain things. That is introspection. Key term, you need to tie that with structuralism. William Wundt is its founder. Introspection is its major tool. It is thinking about thinking. Okay? So, Titchener is your next big guy. Titchener is a student of Wundt. Okay? So Wundt is the first. He's the father. He starts everything. Titchener is guy number 2. Titchener is an American who goes to Germany to learn from Wundt. Okay? Titchener gets there, and he brings psychology to the United States. The capital of psychology of the world today, and almost from the beginning, has been in the United States. We have more students studying psychology in the United States, testing it, research labs, all that in the United States more than any other country in the world. The second next largest is Great Britain, and they do about half as much as we do. Okay, so the United States. So, structuralism is founded by Wundt. His student is Titchener. And I'm going to write U.S. next to it because he's from the U.S. That is why the United States is such a big leader. Okay? Now, under structuralism as well is you're going to have Margaret Washburn. Now, Margaret Washburn is one of 2 women we're going to learn in the beginning. And then we have about 6 women in total that we're going to study. So we got to remember our 6 ladies. Our first one's going to be Margaret Washburn. She studied under Titchener. Titchener received a lot of slack for having a woman. She's the first woman to earn her PhD in the United States, by the way, which is pretty awesome. Okay? And she got it in psychology. Okay? She earned her degree, and they refused to give her the piece of paper that said it. She had to wait 6 years before she actually got the printed piece of paper after she earned it. All right, so under Titchener, you need student was M. Washburn. You do need to know your connections here. You do need to know that they build off of them. So when I ask you who is under structuralism, all right, so on your whiteboard, here we go. Take out your boards, here we go. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name of the founder of structuralism? Who is the founder of structuralism? When we do names, you can always just give me last names. You can never give me first names. You can always give me last. You can do both if you want. If you're going to show off, you're more than welcome to. All right, who is it? Who is it, Molly? Wundt. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the first branch of psychology? What is the first branch of psychology? Listen. Absolutely. If it's crap, throw it away. Good, good. It starts with what, Chris? Structuralism. On your whiteboard, please tell me, who is the first student to start studying psychology under Wundt? Who is the first? Good. Come on, come on, come on. If you need another one, whatever, get what you need. Good. Who is it? Margot. Titchener. Okay? So, that is structuralism. That is where we start. As soon as structuralism is thriving, all of a sudden people start seeing things differently. Remember, structuralism is just looking at the way you think and looking at the function of your brain. Okay? Well, people are like, wait, there's more to this. So after structuralism developed, we have something new called functionalism. Now, functionalism is the second branch of psychology. So they take what Wundt started, using science to study the brain, and then they're like, you know what? We need to know, how does the mind adapt, live, work, and play? How does it function? Because who cares what the structure is? Do you really care where the part of your brain is where you do your logical thinking? Does that really matter to you? No. Do you know where it is? Where your logical thoughts happen? No. Guess what? Have you lived a successful life to this point? Hello, have you? Would you say in terms of however old you are, you've lived a pretty good life without knowing we're logical? Yes. So all these people are like, who cares what the structure looks like? I want to know how it works. And that's what functionalism is. How does the brain work? So functionalism is going to be started by William James. You need to know these names. You need to know who starts them. These names will be all throughout the rest of the year. If you don't learn them now, you will pay for it later because they just keep showing up. Okay, so after structuralism, you have functionalism. Your founder is William James. Now, William James doesn't really care that the brain has the frontal lobe is where your logical thoughts are. He doesn't care that your occipital lobe is in the back. He wants to know why it works the way it works. Now, from functionalism, every other perspective is going to derive. Structuralism is important because it's the first. Functionalism is the home of everything else. Okay? So, when we talk about it, see you tomorrow, guys. Have a great day. Tomorrow, your index cards are due. You have your quiz.